Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to talk about the Chicago Bulls and why I think this team, at the very least, is going to be the sixth seed. I think this team is can be one of the top four teams in the East. Okay, obviously they face competition against the Knicks, Nets, Bucks, and arguably there's a bunch of teams right there that we could put at that fifth spot. But I think the Bulls fit right there. I think Nets, Knicks, Bucks, you know, I'm now blanking on that, but it doesn't matter. I think the Bulls fit right there at five easily, or even could be the fourth seed. And I know the biggest question mark that we look at this team is defense going to be able. Yes, they brought in Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso and Patrick Williams is looking like the next generation of two-way dominant defensively and offensive players in the line of Paul George, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi Leonard, guys who came in where their defensive skills were farther ahead in terms of development than their offensive skills. And then that skill ends up picking up, and that's what we see with those players. And I think Patrick Williams could fall in that similar vein. But albeit, let's look at this roster and let's talk about it. DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Derek Jones Jr., who hopefully can bounce back from last year and play more like the Miami Heat version of himself, Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams, Kobe White, Troy Brown Jr., who he had some flashes on the Wizards, but didn't do much when he came over to Chicago. Tony Bradley, who, albeit had one of his best seasons in Oklahoma, had some flashes where you're like, oh, that's what we were expecting for all those years when he sat behind Rudy Gobert. Javonte Green, who's a phenomenal shooter, and he played for the Celtics. Ayo Dosunmu, who arguably was one of the best players in college basketball last year. He has the length, the poise, the athletic ability, the defensive instincts, and the scoring ability to make an impact day one. And they brought over their second round pick from a year or two ago, Marko Simonovic. Tell me if I said that correctly. Simonovic. If I said that incorrectly, apologize. Tell me down below how to say it correctly. And they got my boy, I go to KU, Devon Dotson, who I really think could be their backup point guard this season. So what do I expect the starting lineup to be? I expect the starting lineup to be Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Power forward is where it gets questionable. I think when we look at this, I think DeMar DeRozan is going to be the power forward, or Patrick Williams will be the two forwards are Patrick Williams and DeMar DeRozan. The two guards are Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine. The center is Nikola Vucevic. What you get there is two defenders in Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams will kill it on transition and slashing, and hopefully his three-point shot is here. And then you got Zach LaVine, who's a scorer. You got DeMar DeRozan, who's the secondary playmaker behind Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball's the primary facilitator. You got Vucevic, who can score on all three levels, is a phenomenal rebounder. And the only question here is rim protection. Teams with this starting lineup, teams might be able to feast in the paint. Okay? But with Tony Bradley and Marko Simonovic, I think they can, at certain times, maybe Tony Bradley and Vooch could be there, and Vooch be the power forward and Bradley be the center, and then they go DeMar, LaVine, and Lonzo, and I think that could be a good defensive team. I'm not saying Tony Bradley's this elite rim protector, but for who they have on the roster, Tony Bradley could be a stopgap for 14 to 18 minutes a night, So when you look over and you saw what he did with the Thunder, he was all right. He had, even with the Thunder and the 76ers in 14 to 18 minutes a night, he averaged a block a game. So he can come in here and grab rebounds and be, this high energy, I wouldn't say he's a rim runner, but he'll get you putbacks, rebounds, and block the occasional shot, which I think is what the Bulls need. So the center rotation, I expect Vucevic, Tony Bradley, Marko Simonovic. Then at power forward, I expect it to be Patrick Williams, DeMar DeRozan, and they don't really have a true power forward. So I think the forward the two forward spots, being small forward and power forward, will be played around. Okay, I think the starters will be Patrick Williams, DeMar DeRozan. You choose who you want to be the power forward, who you want to be the small forward. DeMar did play some power forward last year for the San Antonio Spurs, so he has the experience there. So I expect those two to be starting small forwards, with Derek Jones and Troy Brown. Derek Jones being the backup power forward, Troy Brown being the backup small forward. And then we probably will see maybe a little bit of Ayo Dosunmu at small forward, not power forward. My apologies. And this team has 13 players on the roster, so don't don't be surprised if they add a guy, okay? Maybe an actual power forward. Who the power forward market is limited, but Jared Vanderbilt, who I want to go back to the Timberwolves, would be a great addition to this team. If not, they can look for a guy. A Kyle Quinn could help this team. He's willing to shoot the ball, but a power forward, a Mike Scott could help. Georges Niang's off the market, but a Mike Scott, a guy who can stretch the floor, stretch four would be really nice for this team, as none of their small forwards or forwards in this case are an elite shooter. So if you can go out there and get your guys this guy like James Ennis or Mike Scott, maybe even Michael Beasley. I mean, you lose a lot of defense right there, but they do need some floor spacing behind all those small forwards. Like, they can hit the three-point shot. No one's a 40% three-point shooter right there. Then I love the guards. I think this team has one of the best guard rotations in the entire league, with Zach LaVine and our guy Lonzo Ball lining up the starters, and then the backup. I assume six-man of the year candidate is going to be our boy Kobe White, who I think is going to be their six-man. He's just going to come in and start dropping buckets, okay? And I think that's going to be really fun to watch Kobe White be their six-man. Then they got Alex Caruso, who will be probably co-six-man, maybe not dropping as many points, but getting steals and running the second unit. Then Javonte Green will come in splashing threes, and I would assume I will be their defensive guy to help them on the perimeter when needed, okay? So I look at that, and I just get a little wet if I was a girl. And look, last year Kobe White averaged 15 points a game on 42% from the field and 36% from three. 4 assists, really 4 rebounds a game. So this guy is a beast, and I think he's going to have a great year. So the thing keeping them from being the 4th seed, which will maybe, I think their floor is 6th seed, their ceiling is 4th seed. For them to get to there, they need to solve the rebounding, I think, is their biggest question mark, and post defense, interior defense are their 2 biggest question marks. And besides that, it's when the starter's off the floor, and I think it's forward depth. They need some shooters on their forwards, or hopefully the forwards that they have on this team have taken that jump to being that good of three-point shooters. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What would you guys do if you were, the Bulls? I think, again, guys, I think they're in a position to succeed, and people need to watch out, because I think they're going to be hella good. And I honestly think that people aren't ready for what the Bulls will be this year. So I want to hear your thoughts down below as I finish rambling right here. It's been about 8 minutes. I think that was a good video, right? Did you guys enjoy it? I don't know. Sorry for being so out of it lately, guys. School. It's been a lot. That's it, guys. Peace out.